We thought we were going to have a pretty long conversation with Ryan Day about the effects of name, image, likeness, income on this year's recruiting class next week when Ohio State has its signing day press conference, but he actually got into it a lot today. Introduced today as the Peach Bowl representative, or I guess they officially accepted their invitation to the Peach Bowl, but we got into a lot of other different topics with Ryan Day, and NIL has been a big one because Gene Smith, the athletic director, last week put out a statement for Ohio State fans to see, kind of trying to drum up interest, money going to those collectives. And Ryan Day basically today saying we need all the help we can get, and that this sort of grassroots campaign needs to maybe kick up a little bit so that they can match with other people. But Doug, we also had a kind of a long off to the side impromptu press conference with Gene Smith today, trying to get into some more specificity about what message Ohio State fans should take from what they're hearing right now from Ohio State about where their money needs to go.
Yeah, we're going to have to tell our tech subscribers what to do with that. The bottom line is, we had a long conversation trying to figure that out, because I do think from the fan perspective, that's an important part of this NIL discussion is if you're a fan who loves Ohio State and you have a limited amount of money that you want to give, what should you do with it? And we'll talk about that more. I thought the most important thing that Ryan Day said today, was NIL used to be part of the conversation. Now it's the conversation. And that's the new world. That's not, we look at our building and we'll get you to the NFL and all these things, but also we'll give you some NIL opportunities. That's how much. That's basically what I heard. We're in the how much world. And so if you're in the how much world, you've got to build up your bank account. So if you had questions about what does Ohio State think? I think Ryan Day made it clear where the world is, and so that means it's what do you want in the collective? And the answer is as much as we can get, because we are in the how much world officially in recruiting the very best players in the country. And it's not off in the future, it's here now.
I know, to me that sounds like what we all deal with in a lot of our jobs. If you had 3 job offers on the table and all of them were basically for the same job, same title, same benefits, same standard of living, then you're asking a friend for their advice, wouldn't they say, well, which one pays more? And if one of them pays a lot more than the other 3, and so if you're recruiting against the other best programs in the country, if it's Ohio State, Alabama, and Texas all going for the same guy, that's the 3 finalists, and all the facilities are great, and all the teams are great. Texas is still coming, maybe. You know what I'm saying? USC, put in whatever team you want. Then isn't maybe the NIL the tiebreaker there? And I don't know. That makes sense to me. Stephen, how much, as you're looking ahead to next week, what impact is NIL having on this class, and how much does Ohio State have maybe room in this class to still maneuver and make a difference as far as NIL?
It's having a big one. I think if you talk to anybody in this building, they wouldn't say it on the record, but if you just go up to anybody of any position of power in this building and go, how different does this class look if NIL didn't exist? They say greatly. There are a lot of players who are committed elsewhere who probably would be committed here, or we wouldn't be dealing with the fact that we're a week away from signing day and there are guys in your class where you're not sure if they're going to sign or not because someone's making a better pitch, but someone's making a better offer, literally, in this world of financial situations. And so, but this is the world they have to live in now, and it's not so. This is a problem for Ohio State because it feels like right now they do not have the capital to play the game that you now have to play in the recruiting world to accumulate talent. So that's how you get Gene Smith, basically supporting a collective. That's how you get Ryan Day in the summertime, as Doug had mentioned over the summer and reported that he said, what was it, $13.1 million that you needed to be able to maintain a roster like this? That number even might be a sliding scale and start to go up because it's not so much, as your point, it's who's the highest bidder? Who can make me the most money? Especially when you're dealing with the top tier programs where, okay, if you go to Bama, if you go to Georgia, if you go to Ohio State, if you go to USC at this point, you're probably going to get developed into an NFL player. But who can make me the most money right now? If that starts being the tiebreaker, Ohio State has to be able to compete. And right now, with the rest of this 2023 class, it doesn't feel like they're able to compete. And that's why it feels like every other day there's a new rumor about a guy who is committed or a guy that they're in a fight with where it feels like they're losing that battle.
I just want to add, I do think in June, right, that $13 million number, that, as Ryan Day very specifically said, that was to maintain the current roster. That's where their heads were this summer, just this summer, was in let's make sure we don't lose our guys, have them poached by other teams that come in and say, we'll give you more NIL. Today, now they're talking about high school recruits. Like now we need NIL to make high school recruit offers. Again, we're reading between the lines a little bit, but that's changed. That's just because they kind of didn't want to go there, because that's not kind of what it's supposed to be, but that's officially where we are. And so that, again, that's in 6 months, has been a shift, I think, in Ohio State thinking, because the world has forced them to.
We're actually doing more reporting on this. We're talking to the sources that are directly involved with this, and we'll have more to report about this soon. 614-350-3315 is our text subscription. That's where it goes first. Now's a great time, $3.99 a month, 2-week free trial. So it's not just NIL stuff. It's all the stuff that's going on around this team, and that's where we tell you about it first. So that'll take you up through the Peach Bowl and in towards the national championship, and listen to Buckeye Talk wherever you can find podcasts.